How's it going? So I'm up here at the eave, and I just removed the excess tarp material that I had rolled and tacked up underneath so I could see what I've got going on. And what I'm trying to figure out is how the heck to build these eaves. This has been daunting me. I don't know if you can use that word like that, but I used it. So it's been daunting me for 6 months now, and I've just got to do it. And so I'm trying to figure out. Let me flip you around. So the issue here is that when you're racing to build this thing in the fall, sometimes these details get, well, either missed or I didn't know about it, but that plywood sheathing really needs to stick out quite a ways further than the end of this, and we ran it to the bottom, and I just screwed that up because I've got to have a 2x4 on here, I've got to have a fascia board, I've got to have a freeze board. It's probably hard to see, but that thing down there is kind of the profile of this eave, so I'm just matching what I already have. So I've got to figure out, like, obviously I've got to patch with a strip of plywood, which is wicked lame, which means I'll probably end up cutting it back a ways and then redoing the plywood. And then the other issue I have is that, and you probably can't see it from here, but the studs on the house are in probably about an inch, and so those don't line up. And the other thing that I'm looking at is this new roof pitch up here, just more shallow. I can't remember what it is, 312, is a lot more shallow than that 1012, and so you can see that roof sticks out quite a bit further than this roof, and so I'm wondering maybe I extend this upper section, sister 2x4s on, then I can nail my end board, I can make sure that they're all in line, and then I can extend the plywood out, a little thicker piece of plywood, or again cut it back and then do the whole thing. The thing I worry about with a little piece of plywood is that it'll kind of do this because it doesn't have a lot of strength. Although I suppose it is supported by that 2x4. Maybe it'll be all right. Anyway, so this is the kind of thing I'm doing this morning. A little note on how to get stuff done. So it's like 6:30 in the morning. Got out here at, I don't know, like 6, and moved the bucket truck, got it in the right spot, got it set up, got my tools, got up here, removed this tarp, and I don't plan on actually doing anything this morning, but it's critical to make microscopic steps, even in the small moments you have before work, after work, and so that's what I'm trying to do this morning. If I can get up here, remove this stuff, come up with a plan, then when I actually go to do the work, I already have the plan and I can just go. So that's what I'm doing. I got to go to work now, so I think I have enough information that I can make a decision, and I think it's going to be sistering those on, putting a 2x4 in the end, patching the plywood, and I probably won't extend it all the way to meet this roof, but so right now these are 14 and a half. So yeah, still thinking about this stuff. So I put all these rafters up here. Yesterday I sistered on some of these 2x4s, and when I got all done, I realized that my string, the way I was using my string, my rafter tails were kind of curved, so I made a bow in my eave, and so I'm redoing it today. I've taken this one off. What I've got now is I've got my string tied around a block. I've clamped the block to the roof so that I can adjust it with my hammer. I can just tap it and slide the string back and forth, and right now you can see it lines up pretty well with the end of the rafters down there. Actually, maybe you can't see that, but now what I'm doing is I'm taking each one of these off and setting it back up there to sister on, and then I bring it out until it touches the string and then nail it in place, and then I know I've got all of these ending all in the same plane. So it sucks redoing work, but I wouldn't have to be doing any of this if I'd taken the time in the first place to get these rafter ends right, or if I'd left them long and then cut them off. But I was out of time, had a roof off my house. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. All right, there they are, the eaves. Yay. Boy, I've been dreading that for 6 months. So these are 16 footers. I put them up and left them long so that I can figure out the ladder that goes up this eave here, and I did the same on the other side. And then I'll just cut them out here in the air. It's a lot easier than trying to figure it all out now. It's about progress. Anyway, yeah, these 2x4s could be straighter. I don't know if you can see that real well, but you know, I think the trim board is what is really going to hold the straight line, and not necessarily this sub fascia. That's what I call it. I named it because I don't know what it's called. Sub fascia's done. All right, so today's project, I'm doing the ladders on this eave here. So I happen to have a ladder here, which I took off the last house. I kind of wish I had the other side too, because this is perfect. I don't have to build it. It's already built. So step one, I got to remove these nails off the whole thing. The guy that built this house, I swear, like, he must have got a new nail gun. You know, what's funny is that he didn't actually have a nail gun. He hammered all of these by hand, and he put 40,000 nails in. So I got the angle grinder. I'm just zipping them all off. See my breath? 40 degrees. It's gonna be 80 today, and it's like 40 degrees overnight. It's crazy. It actually is a really nice temperature to work. So I'm gonna cut these nails off and then cut it to length, and then I gotta recut the angle on this side, because this angle here was the original 10, 11, 12, 10, 12, 12, 12, super steep cape pitch. So anyway, yeah. There it is, ladder rack installed. I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with that. So that's the one I took off the old house. You can see the plywood when I put it on the roof. I did not extend it out far enough. So I've got to patch that, but I don't think that'll be a problem. You can see down here, I left that sub fascia long so that I could cut it off afterwards and then run this ladder to it. But that was actually pretty darn easy, and I've been dreading that. That's like on my dread list, number 3. So process is get your length measurement and cut all the middle pieces, cut the 2 end pieces, nail it together, and then put it all up as one. I'll go back and screw it as well. I feel a little bit better about screws. You know, the only thing holding that up is the strength of the sheathing on top and then the fasteners in the wall. So granted, it doesn't have any weight but itself, the roof, and any snow that happens to stay, but it's a metal roof, so should be good. I like the nice, like, deep eaves. So those middle pieces are 16.5, overall 20 and an eighth, I think. It's nice, and with a structure this tall, I didn't realize this, but apparently the depth of this part should be proportionate to the distance to the ground, or something like that. You know, the farther it is to the ground, the easier it is for driving rain to soak the structure, and so these are nice and deep, pretty psyched. So now I'm going to do basically the same thing on the other side. And it should be all the same measurements, but I'm just going to go over and double check.